In My Hero Academia Season 4 Episode 13, Eri's phenomenal quirk is showcased as she and Deku square off against Chisaki in his final form. Hold on. Rewind that back. That's right, today we'll be discussing how exactly Eri's exceptional abilities work and all the future possibilities for our adorable little half-demon child. What's up? It's Truth Hero, and I'm back, baby. Kind of. Still getting there. Today we'll be discussing Eri's amazing rewind quirk, the philosophy behind her and Chisaki's relationship, as well as how this brave young girl finally decides to take matters into her own hands. We'll also be discussing just how beautiful this episode was. Like, and all of the future possibilities for Eri's abilities. Now, there will be some slight manga spoilers ahead, but don't worry, I'll warn you just before I say it. So, let's get into it. Part 1. Eri's VCR Skills. In episode 13 of My Hero Academia Season 4, Eri is shown reversing the effects of Chisaki's quirk and separating him from his henchmen. If Chisaki is polymerization, then Eri is acting as diffusion. She's also seen reversing the damage Deku takes from using his One For All without limitations at 100%. But how exactly does she do this? Eri's Rewind allows her to revert a living being's body back to a previous physical state. With this, she can undo or bring back injuries or modifications from the present or the past, as mentioned before when she healed Deku's injuries. She is even capable of reverting people back to a point before they existed, essentially erasing any trace of them from the world altogether. All this being said, it doesn't tell us exactly how it works. For example, Bakugo, he sweats nitroglycerin and produces sparks, thus creating a big boom. But what about Eri? How exactly does her quirk work? It's important to know specifics so that we can talk about options for her future. Luckily, the manga and anime give us a few good clues about this. Chisaki mentions Eri's power goes beyond just the physical body. We're not just talking about rewinding individual bodies. This is something greater than that. She can affect the very evolution of our species, rewinding them to a state before these mutations ever occurred. Through this, she has the power to destroy the quirk factor and turn humans back to normal. It's this description, along with the fact that Chisaki casually mentions in the manga, Eri could probably turn a human back into a monkey. Ape. That leads me to believe she actually rewinds living DNA. And I'll prove it to you. Make no mistake about it, Eri rewinding Deku's injuries isn't her simply restoring a human to normal. She actually rewinds Deku's DNA to a point where it was not injured, and even a bit further as Deku feels his body being torn apart. This is evident in how she accidentally rewound her father to a point where he didn't exist. In trying to hug him, she rewound his DNA so much that it skipped right past monkey, dinosaurs, and ocean creatures, all the way back 4 billion years before the first microorganisms danced in the primordial soup. Slight manga spoilers ahead, although it's not even really a spoiler because you can basically deduce this from the episode and knowing the fact that Eri's quirk rewinds DNA. It's because of this that, unfortunately for all you Mirio Togata stans, Eri will not be able to restore Mirio's quirk. Since his DNA was altered by a bullet containing her blood which eliminates the quirk factor, she can't rewind his DNA since it's already been rewound to that of a normal human like you or I. Slight manga and future episode spoilers here, but you may be thinking in regards to Mirio, Truth Hero, what about the serum that Overhaul and the 8 Precepts plan to sell to the heroes once their quirks were cancelled out? Well, you'll see soon enough that this actually never comes to fruition. Before we discuss all the things that are possible with Eri's quirk in the future, I want to first explain her future as a young girl escaping the villain Chisaki, and really how we got this amazing episode. Part 2. Eri and Chisaki's Psychology. The relationship of a Yakuza upstart and adopted daughter is one of abuser and abused. Chisaki constantly gaslights Eri, using his power as an adult and intimidation tactics to make Eri question her own quote-unquote cursed existence and doubt any belief that she is actually being mistreated. You are the one with a cursed existence, not me, not the guy who chops you up every day. No, you are the reason why people like my henchmen die when you get scared and run off. It's not my dangerous hands that kill people. You are the reason that heroes who intervene in my affairs die. You are the reason why Mirio lost his powers. This is seen the first time Deku and Mirio encounter Eri. She is so scared of what Chisaki is capable of that she immediately returns to his side and all the abuse she knows he will inflict upon her because she fears for the heroes' lives. She'd blame herself if anything happened to them. Eri, being this closeted youth that she is, who doesn't attend school or kindergarten, accepts this, as she has no way of knowing what a normal childhood or normal parents and caretakers are like. Also, it is kinda hard to argue since Chisaki's kinda right. Mirio lost his permeation quirk taking a bullet for Eri, so no Eri, no Mirio without a quirk. But what Eri doesn't understand is that any hero is willing to do this. People will always be self-sacrificing regardless if she or anyone else is in trouble. Through Chisaki's manipulation, she can't see anyone else but herself as a helpless, cursed individual who only invites despair into the lives of others. On the contrary, she invites the greatest joy to everyone that knows her after she is saved. Eri decides, I don't want this, and returns to Deku's side. This isn't just a child wanting to be saved. This is a young girl standing up to her abuser and manipulator and saying enough is enough. I'm not cursed, I'm blessed. You are the one who's cursed, Chisaki. You are the plague upon society. This episode also did a fantastic job of showing just how twisted Chisaki was. I mean, he'd stop at nothing to rule with the Yakuza and make that money. Look at this greedy look in his eyes as he's explaining his master plan. The manga can only do so much. This episode brought this scene to life. Or death. Also, this scene. It was at that moment that Chisaki realized he messed up. Let's move on from the dark, twisted psychology between Eri and Chisaki, which I could do many more videos on, holla at me in the comments, to the bright future that Eri has received from people like Mirio, Deku, and Night Eye through their sacrifices. Part 3. Eri's bright future. Given all that our heroes went through to rescue Eri, some even sacrificing their careers and even their lives to save this child, it makes sense that Eri could perhaps play a pivotal role in the future. If she learns to control her quirk Rewind, there's no telling what she'll be able to do. What about right now though? Let's explore all the things Eri could do in the future of My Hero Academia using just what we know as of now. For starters, Eri can heal people. She can serve as an apprentice to Recovery Girl, healing students of UA as they bring joy into her life. Although this would require special supervision from Aizawa, cause if she goes too far with her quirk, yeah, no good. You'll be healed, you just won't exist. So. Eri could also rewind the Nomu back to their human form since she can already split two bodies apart like she did Chisaki and his henchmen. Even if the people used to create the Nomu were mutilated, all Eri needs is some of their DNA and she can rewind it to a full human body. The only caveat to this is that some of the people used in Nomu production might actually be dead, and although Eri can rewind their DNA to their original human form, there's nothing to suggest that she can actually bring people back to life. As we know, Eri can rewind people to before the quirk mutation in the humans happened. By this, she could take someone like Shoji and make him have only 2 arms, or even take someone like Hagakure and make her visible since her DNA would lose the mutation of refracting light. Although Eri can rewind a person completely, I do not believe she can rewind their time. Recently, fellow YouTuber Turtle Quirk did a theory on how Bakugo is actually the second user of One For All, and he called me out. It's all good, bro. You're doing big things. I like it. I'll leave a link to it in the description below so you guys can check it out, but my main gripe with this theory is not that it uses a casual time loop. Even though I generally feel that that's lazy writing, that's the author's choice if they want to go that route. I think time travel is really hard to pull off, but that's fine. The principle of it checks out. My argument against the theory is that Eri rewinds people's DNA, not a person's time, nor a person in time. Meaning, she can't take a person and rewind them back in time. Otherwise, she could easily restore Mirio's quirk, and I think Mirio losing his quirk is a permanent thing in the story. We also know Eri doesn't rewind someone's time because Deku still has the memory of breaking his bones and then having them restored. If she actually rewound someone's individual time, their memories and any recollection of events would likely be rewound and erased. I might make my own video on the vestiges of One For All and why those two silhouettes look eerily similar to Bakugo and Kirishima, but for now I just want to reiterate that Eri's quirk relies on rewinding DNA, not a person's time. If it were the case that she could rewind a person's time, so she could turn you back into a child or erase your mistakes, then how could she also turn you back into a monkey like Chisaki said? When was a person ever a different species? It's gotta be rewinding the DNA and our evolution as humans. Other than set-in-stone future possibilities for Eri's quirk, there still remains many unanswered questions about the nature of her abilities. Is Eri immune to her own power, or can she rewind herself? Remember, every time Eri was cut up and put back together, that was Chisaki reassembling her. But could she have healed herself if she was able to control her rewind quirk? Eri's blood is in the minor bullets that Tamaki Yamajiki is shot with. Her blood combined with the trigger drug is in the bullet that permanently destroyed Mirio's quirk. Remember, Chisaki was very interested in studying quirks that can cancel, destroy, or erase other quirks, hence why his subordinate Chronostasis captured Aizawa alive. It's possible that through training, Eri could partially rewind someone so that they won't be able to use their quirk for a short period of time. Slight manga spoiler here, but it is confirmed later with Neito Monoma that the horn growing from Eri's head is necessary for her quirk's activation. Not really a surprise since it glows when she uses her powers. I can only expect that in the future, Eri might better understand this and how her power actually has to be stockpiled. What do you guys think? What will Eri be capable of in the future? And how will her adorable character play a pivotal role in this series? Comment below. So, silly me, I've been away from YouTube and filming for so long that I actually forgot to record the end of my video yesterday. You know the part where I normally say, and if you guys like My Hero Academia content, consider enrolling at UA today by subscribing or whatever. And I'm not totally 100% back to YouTube just yet, but it is really nice to see you guys and to be able to make content for you, and really, thanks for all the support while I've been gone. But I'm really glad that I actually forgot to record this bit, because as I was editing the first part of the footage, a thought occurred to me. Eri can rewind DNA, and through this she can heal people, and if she learns how to control it, even herself. I mean, she's basically invincible, save for some injury to the head where she's knocked out or unconscious. Any injury she sustains, she can just reverse the physical damage by rewinding her DNA. But that's not all. When people die of old age, or even just age in general, it's because their DNA when replicating makes mistakes and it gets worn down. But if Eri were to occasionally rewind herself back to a younger Eri, couldn't she technically always be young and even live forever?